So yeah, let's talk about Michael Saylor and his $10 million Bitcoin price prediction. Let's break it down. First and foremost, this is an article I recently found. It's called Analysis for $10 million per Bitcoin Gets a Nod from Michael Saylor. It was shared just a few months back. Now, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor expects the Bitcoin price to hit 10 million per coin. He highlights an analysis by Twitter user Croesus. Saylor notes that Croesus has made a compelling case for the Bitcoin valuation. Here's what Saylor had to share regarding this prediction. Bitcoin is competing against gold, collectibles, art, equities, real estate, bonds, and money as a store of value in the 21st century. Croesus analyzes the opportunity and makes a compelling case for $10 million per BTC. So obviously we can see Bitcoin has massive potential. So in the analysis, Croesus explains the Bitcoin's growth engine is its increasing scarcity, which will continue into the future, and the Bitcoin is designed to improve on gold's strength as it continues to solve its weaknesses. He further argues that the market for store-to-value assets is separate from industries and that different assets are valued for different reasons. Some appreciate value, some maintain purchasing power, while others shrink over time. This implies the Bitcoin competes with all assets, including equities, real estate, bonds, not just gold or the precious metal. Now, as per Croesus, the value of traditional assets is constrained by key variables in their respective valuation equations, such as future cash flow, discount rates, mortgage rates, and new supply. So by contrast, the valuation of Bitcoin is driven by its scarcity and security, which is absolute, incorruptible, and inviolable. And it is not only influenced by new supplies, interest rates, or economic factors. And as such, he makes the case for $10 million per Bitcoin valuation based on the assumption the Bitcoin will, to some extent, replace gold as a global reserve asset. Preach. Although this may seem like an overly optimistic prediction, Croesus notes that Bitcoin's current market cap represents 0.05% of the global store of value in the market, which includes gold, real estate, and other assets. Quoting him here, I believe Bitcoin's full potential is to eat 25% of the world's value, while today it constitutes of just 0.05%. That is absurd. That means that I believe Bitcoin could 500x in price over the coming decades in real inflation adjusted terms. And as such, he concludes the Bitcoin's value proposition as a superior store of value asset with no counterparty risk and no dilution and no inflation, makes it a compelling investment opportunity for long-term investors, especially in the face of the unprecedented money printing by the central banks worldwide. Preach. And now let's continue. Here's Michael Saylor betting on Bitcoin going to $10 million per coin. Here we go. In an interview he did with Bitcoin Magazine, Saylor speaks on the need for competition in the Bitcoin industry, and he is quoted sharing the following: if you're mining Bitcoin, you never want to sell any Bitcoin. And if you raise money, you want to buy Bitcoin with the money you raise, and then you want to borrow against the Bitcoin to pay for the operating expenses. If you do that, if you believe in Bitcoin, it is obvious. If you don't believe in Bitcoin, maybe you shouldn't be in the business. If you don't think Bitcoin is going to $1 million a coin and then $10 million per coin, I don't think you should be a Bitcoin miner. I don't think you should be a Bitcoin exchange, and I don't think you should be a Bitcoin wallet. If you think it is not going to zero, then rational thinking is the competition in the market is making my Bitcoin more valuable. That's good. But the competition is making my existing business less profitable. That's bad. If I'm a genius and I execute well, maybe I can say, stay ahead of everybody else. Maybe. But while I'm doing that, every single free dollar I can raise should be converting to Bitcoin, because out of 100 possibilities, there's 99 paths where you will fail and Bitcoin succeeds. And there is one path where you succeed and Bitcoin succeeds. So Saylor practices obviously what he preaches as he continues to hodl Bitcoin, as we pointed out, and he will probably continue to do so. Also, he's quoted sharing, and first of all, Bitcoin's going up by a factor of 10, whether they can fix any of this stuff. And it's going to be a grind up by a factor of 10 just because gold is broken. And Bitcoin is going to replace gold, and now everybody in the universe knows they need a non-sovereign store of value in the form of a bearer instrument. So for the last year, people said inflation may be coming. We are not sure. Now the mainstream narrative has flipped to inflation is here. You need an inflation hedge. So it is going to grind up to replace gold. It is going to go to $500,000 a coin Bitcoin, regardless of whether they fix these things. Here are 3 things that are massive catalysts that will cause an acceleration. Those 3 things don't take us to $500,000 per Bitcoin. They take us to $5 million per coin. Those 3 things are, number 1, a spot ETF, where someone can go ahead and buy $100 million of Bitcoin via an ETF security. I think that's one. Number 2, your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it. And number 3, I can mark it up or down on my balance sheet based on fair value. So there you have it, fam. I wanted to share those insights from Michael Saylor as he continues stacking them sats and following the smart money and the whales, which is mass accumulating. Shout out to all my long-term hodlers. What do you think the Bitcoin price is likely to go before the end of this year? Let's say at around Christmas time, everyone put in your predictions so I can start reading those out loud. And if you gain value out of today's show, be sure to smash that like button as it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And be sure to drop some comments and not be a stranger, as I appreciate it, fam. Welcome to everyone just joining us. Massive shout out to everyone in the live chat.